What's going on? Goku762. So today we're going to be talking about the M4A1. Since this gun is one of the most used weapons in the Call of Duty community, about 80% of the Call of Duty community uses the M4A1. So not everybody, but most people use it, and it is a reliable, dependable weapon to use within the video game. So this build right here is designed basically around just for core. As you can see, I've got FMJ, rear striped grip tape, which we're going to walk through, and we'll talk about each one. Now, I have on here the M16 barrel Grenader, which this one gives me damage range, as you can see, bullet velocity, and recoil control. So we definitely want recoil control if we're going to be putting out mass damages, because if you're all over the paper, then ultimately probably what's going to happen is either you're going to get shot or you're just going to look really bad. Now, notice one of the cons on this certain barrel is ADS speed. So you're aiming down sight speed is deducted from your mobility. Same with your movement speed. So as you can see right there on the graph, mobility is got a slight little bit of a red in it. So you're not going to be moving as fast, and you're probably not going to pull this weapon up as fast with this build. But I'm telling you, if you're going to be sitting for a more of objective base games, this weapon would be amazing for you. Now, I run around with this build. I honestly run around and I use the ADS and pull my weapon out a lot faster than about 60 to 70% of the people I come across, which is pretty good. So I don't use lasers on my builds at all. Lasers are, they definitely give you some good perks and make the charts look good, but you have to think of one thing. When you're playing objective-based games, or if you're playing the game, period, you got to think about not giving your position away. So you're not going to be running around shooting everywhere, because what does it do? It gives your position away. So one of the things that I don't like using these for is the lasers, because when you ADS somewhere, or if you're off to the left ADSing trying to come around a corner to peek it, someone's going to see that green laser. And ultimately, it's going to give your position away. It's the same thing if you're on the other end and you see that green laser. Obviously, you already know someone's there, so what are you going to do? You're going to try to angle yourself to get him before they get you, because you already know where he's at. So I don't use these. If you want to use them and you're good with using them, that's great. That's awesome. Share your secrets. Now, as far as when we go into the optics is basically more of a self-preference. So some of these just give you zoom level, and they do different things like halo, scout toggle, but you have to think one thing. Every sight that you use, it does not matter which one it is, as you can see as I'm scrolling through, takes away from your ADS speed. So in common action, it would really be the bigger the scope, the less ADS, or the more ADS speed to take away. But it's just all balanced out. I personally like using the Scout Combat Optic. It gives you just the right amount of zoom. It's 3.25 magnification, and also it's not a big of magnification to where it looks like they're close up to you when they really are close up to you, and it doesn't get in the way when you're trying to ADS on someone. So that's just what I personally like doing. Stocks, I don't have a stock on this one. Like I said, this stock is for running around and more of a core build, so I don't have anything. But your stocks are going to be more or less for your ADS speed. As you can see, if you're going to use a stock, I would definitely recommend the Forge Tech CQS. As you can see, it gives you more ADS speed. Yes, it takes away a little bit of your aiming stability, but you can replace that little bit that it takes away, or your accuracy, what it takes away, with a good foregrip. And as you can see, I have the white line on my accuracy is already way above. So I could put this attachment on, and it would not affect my overall accuracy that much. It takes a little bit of away, but it's still over the white line amazingly much. So this weapon will still be quite accurate. I use FMJ in core just because it does a little bit more damage. Sometimes I use it in hardcore too, and I definitely like to use it when we play competitive league or if we play tournaments. FMJ gives you a little bit more of an enhanced ability to where you can shoot through walls and shoot through soft and not hardened, too much hardened of a material, but also it delivers more of a punch. As you can see what it does when you scroll on it. Accuracy, damage, and range go up. Yes, it takes away mobility, but it gives you more penetration. And that's a big thing that you want to do when you're playing kind of core-based games. And most competitive play games are going to be core-based, so you got to think about how can I get that person down faster, and how can I get him down before he gets me down. So that's something, kind of the things you got to keep in, especially if you're playing team-based competitively. Then you have more or less buddies backing you up, or you have your teammates backing you up, and you're communicating to where you're in a high point. You can try to shoot across the map to help defend or help to get your teammate up to where it needs to be if he's forcing pressure onto the objective. So that's kind of the build that you got to look at too, and that's why I use this build is for when I have to play anchor, if I have to play mid-map and I have to hold mid-angle, I can actually plink across each side of the map from one position and overwatch both objectives on search and destroy while covering my team and relay direct information to my team. So that's something that you have to think into consideration when you're building these weapons too, if you play with a 6-man team all the time. If you're running by yourself, I mean, this build will still work great on pulling up on people and still out ADSing, because now if they get the ADS on you, obviously their ADS speed is not going to deliver. They're going to pull up faster than you, of course, but their weapon's not going to deliver as much as a punch as your weapon. So this weapon here, they might get a shot extra on you, but I guarantee you this weapon here will take them down before they take you down, even if they ADS faster than you. Now, if they get a headshot on you, that's a different story, and do not hold me to that, because headshots are, headshots. So, I mean, and another thing, if you're going to play like hardcore and you're going to use this build, I would probably change over from FMJ to sleight of hands. I mean, you definitely want to be able to reload faster. Different people use that. I mean, there's a couple guys on my team who use the frangible wounding, and they also use the frangible disabling, which is a good thing. I usually use that perk on my pistol so I can swatch my perk, shoot the guy in the leg a couple times, swap back to my M4, and start lasering him. But that's just what I do. Now, the grip what I use on this one is the striped grip tape. So this one gives me ADS speed and sprint to fire speed, which is a good thing. So from what that means by sprint to fire is you're running, and when you're running, you can go to fire a lot faster from a dead run. And now it takes away a little bit of aim stability, but that's already been compensated by the other perks and other attachments I have on this weapon. And also, like I said, it gives us a good boost of ADS speed. Now think about if we had the stock and that rear grip on, what my ADS speed would be all overall. Now the M4A1 grip. Now there's a lot of different grips on this game, would give you a lot of different things and give you a good thing of recoil control. But I have not found anyone that's better than the M4A1 grip. Because one of the big things, yes, granted, a 4 grips is going to take away your ADS and walking speed regardless. Now, a couple of them don't, but they don't really give you much. But this one gives you recoil control and hip fire accuracy. So if you are running around with this weapon and you see someone, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to want to ADS if they're 5 feet in front of you. You're going to want to hip fire before you start even pulling your weapon up. So you can usually start hip firing and then pull your weapon up to give you a couple more accurate shots when you're already doing damage to them. So I have not found another better 4 grip. I mean, tell me what you guys think, what's your favorite 4 grip to use, and I'll definitely try it out. We'll put it in another video with some actual gameplay. Now, I don't use a muzzle. Muzzles are more or less for your recoil control, melee quickness, and sound suppression, as we both know, or we all know. But I don't use a muzzle on this particular build. Don't say I'm not using muzzle, period, but as I scroll down to the next build, you'll see. Now that's just this base. This is more or less like a mid force press kind of like, but you can still ADS and still run around with this weapon, and it'll do the job. I'm telling you right now. Try it out. Try this build. Tell me what you think. Comment down below in the sections. So the next weapon we're going to go to is the same thing, of course, but this one is particularly built just for ADSing. So this is a run and gun build, and this is about the best way I could find it. As you can see, my mobility is in the green. It's not in the red. It's not past the line like on the other build. This one is actually obsidian. So the barrel I use is the FFS 14.5 TAC Light. Now, I've compared it to other barrels. Now, this one, the bullet velocity and recoil control, I could give you gameplay video of what these different barrels do. Trying to shoot at someone who's moving, and while you're moving, it does not pan out. And you definitely don't want this barrel because you're wanting your ADS speed. You're wanting to pull your weapon up as fast as possible to get the kill before they do. And you also want to be able to deliver a punch. This is the best one I found. Now, granted, this one, the Predator, does the same thing, but it does take away a little bit more of your range. You can use it. It doesn't matter really in core. They made it to where suppressors don't really hurt your weapon as much in Call of Duty anymore like they used to do in previous Call of Duties. So, I mean, I like using this one. This is what I found best fit for my play style. But as you can see, when I go from the Predator all the way up back to the TAC Light, what my bars do here on the graph, You can see the accuracy goes up, the range, the mobility goes up just with that weapon, with that attachment. So I always keep that one. Now, like I said, I don't use lasers, and on this build, I would not use a muzzle because I'm not worried about my recoil control. I'm worried about being able to pull my weapon down faster and getting them down as fast as possible, and I'll control the recoil with my own control. So I don't use lasers. I still use the Scout Combat Optic. That's just what I like using. Like I said, most sites or personal preference are some better than others, but this is what I like. It's perfect for my gameplay. Now on this one, as you can see, I've got the Forged Tac CQS stock, which I've already showed you earlier. It gives you your ADS speed. So you can see my accuracy is way up, and so is my mobility, and so is my range is still above the white line, but it has not penalized my damage yet. My damage is not below the white line. It's just right at the white line. So I'm still doing a great amount of damage while I'm ADSing. Now on this one, I also use the striped grip tape, or the stippled grip tape. And as you can see, it gives you your ADS and your sprint to fire speed, like I've said in the previous. I don't use ammunition attachments on this weapon because you're trying to ADS. You don't want big bulky things to slow you down and get you killed. And on this one as well, I use the MURK grip because when you're ADSing, this gives you a little bit of recoil control, like I've said before. It takes a little bit of ADS speed and aim down sight speed. Or I'm sorry, you're aiming walking movement speed. I don't know why that would make a difference. It's just say ADS speed. But anyway, you definitely want that hip fire control or hip fire accuracy when you're trying to just ADS. Or running gunning. That's what I'm just going to call it because ADS doesn't sound right. But that's just a kind of a more of a run and gun build. Now, this is a build that we do use in competitive league when we have our two runners who are trying to run up to force pressure on objectives before the enemy team can get there and then place themselves and just become anchors. So this is a really good build to use. Try it. Tell me what you think. If I need to make edits to it or if you think that there should be an edit to it, comment down below and I'll definitely try it and let you know. Now the last but not least is, this is more of a hardcore build. It's kind of the same thing. I've got the Predator FFS 12.4 Predator on it. So I got a little bit of a silencer just to kind of be more stacked. I've got the MURK 4 grip on it, the stipple grip on it, still the Scout Combat Optics. Now this gun, since it's hardcore, and when you're playing hardcore, you don't really have to worry about the damage because, let's be honest, in hardcore, you can shoot someone in the big toe and they're going to die. So you really want to be able to ADS on them as fast as possible. So you could use this build or the previous build, and I guarantee you in hardcore, if you're running and gunning and you're not coming across a ton of people who are sitting in or strategically hiding, as they call it, you should be fine by out ADSing and doing enough damage to get the person down. Now this one is the one I was still building. This is more or less going to be a damage run and gun. So you're going to be able to ADS and deliver a good amount of damage. I'm still working on it. So as you can see, I started going in. The best one I could find, what you'd want to use is either a muzzle brake or a compensator if you're going to do a run and gun damage class. So you definitely want to, the thing what's going to take a big hit is your recoil control. So this is going to be a run and gun. You're going to be close and personal with this weapon, and you're going to be able to deliver a good amount of damage and also be able to pull your weapon up faster than the other person. So when it comes down to competitive league, it's all about who gets the first shot off. There's still a lot to go on this one. I'm still kind of designing with it and still trying to mess with it. I haven't quite got it figured out yet. If you guys have a clue of what I maybe should add to this weapon, comment down below, and definitely we'll try it out. You can also just come over and just watch me try it out one time, or try it out against me. But anyway, that's all we got. I don't really put too much camos. I don't ever really talk about camos, but if you're gonna go into camos, now I've got basically almost all of them unlocked besides like 2 reptile or something. When you're gonna use camos, I always tell people, don't use bright camos, because I can tell you right now, like the gold, I will never use the gold camo, that's just me personally, but I'm telling you right now, the type of player that I am when I play, I'm looking for bright things. Your eyes are already adjusted within your life, and it's scientifically proven that your eyes will see brighter things before they see darker things. That's just your eye doctor will tell you the exact same thing I just told you. So if you're running a gun that has bright orange, yellow, pink colors, that weapon is going to be seen. I would not run this type of thing on my weapon at all. But that more or less, that's a personal preference because it doesn't give you any enhancement on your weapon. That's just kind of a tip if you're going to running and you kind of be a little bit more competitive, want to be a little bit more competitive. That's one thing that I actually will see first when I'm running around is I might be looking straight ahead, but I see something bright pink off to my left, and I look, and I'll be long. It's a player. So that's just a couple things, a couple tips you do. So next time we're going to be talking. We're going to go ahead and end it up this video. So next time we're going to be coming here, we're going to be more talking about more of competitive angles when you're playing different types of game modes like gunfight and stuff like that, and how you can get an edge on your unit. Because when it comes down to a certain thing, sometimes it's not outgunning, it's outplaying your opponent and good key communication. So if you guys like this video, smash the subscribe, comment down below, and tell me if there's anything I need to improve, and we'll catch